Hi, ever wondered how famous dams around the world work? Introducing the team that made this informational presentation happen. First up in the team, Talwinder, the team leader that leads this project. Ryan, the research leader. Iskandar, who collated the slides. And lastly, me, Imran, your presenter who will be running through with on how electricity is generated by using hydropower in hydro dams. In today's presentation, we will be covering sections on what is hydropower, the ranking of the world's most famous hydro dams, and classification of hydro facilities. We will then be breaking it down to small hydro facilities, Pico hydro facilities, the mechanism of a hydro dam, and its efficiency measured in numeric. Hydropower. What is a hydropower dam? To get a better picture in mind, think of our homeland's dam in Marina Barrage. The most common type of hydropower plant uses a dam on a river to store water in a reservoir. Water released from the reservoir flows through a turbine, spinning it, which in turn activates a generator to produce electricity. Looking at the bar chart below, this text was retrieved from the International Energy Agency. They calculated and predicted the global primary energy supply from 2004 to 2030. Compounds such as coal, oil, gas, nuclear, hydro, biomass, and waste, and other renewables were harvested to form renewable forms of energy. Hydro proves to use only 2% of the renewable energy. The table below shows famous hydro dams and are ranked by maximum generation. Three Georges was built in the year 2009 with a ranking first on the list with a maximum generation of 18,200 megawatts. The lowest being Iron Gates was built in 1970 in Romania at only a maximum generation of 22,080 megawatts. 2,280 megawatts, and an annual production of 11.3 trillion watts per hour. In 1942, the United States Grand Coulee had only 2 power dams. The maximum power generated was lesser than 6,809 megawatts. 6,809 megawatts only came about when the third power station was added in 1980. Classification of hydro facilities. Referring to the table, we have the classification of hydro-powered facilities. All of these facilities have different ways of working and it's built on different environmental conditions. Of course, they have a fall, differences in height or condition that produce constant water flow. There are mega grids in Europe at the moment, supplying power up to 750 gigawatts for other renewable energy. However, the largest scale hydro energy setup is known as the large hydro facility, generating up to 100 megawatts to a large electricity grid. Large take advantage of economies of scale. The electric power which is generated is stepped up to a higher voltage at which it connects to the electric power transmission network. For you to understand the magnitude of such a setup, a large-size electricity grid in power transmission can supply up to 30% of North American continent. The drawback, of course, will be In the event of a blackout, a large community will be affected. Although there are now ultra-sized giant batteries as part of large grids that are constantly charged and will kick in during blackouts. Small hydro introduction. Being a small Asian country, we would like to look first at technology of the hydro facilities most suitable for our size. A small size hydro is more feasible to us as a study for your understanding. Typically, a small hydro system could power 1,000 average homes, and a micro hydro system could power 100 homes. In order for the technology to work, we need natural flow of water, mostly from a height called drop, such as a flow may be natural, such as canal falls, small rivers, step hills, mountain, or waterfalls. It can also be a man-made, such as irrigation outlets, artificial waterfalls, through modification of water catchments. A small renewable energy power program was the premier policy mechanism implemented by the international government to promote small-scale renewable electricity in Malaysia from 2001 to 2010. Under the Small Renewable Energy Program, small hydropowers are defined as less than 10 megawatts. The design of a small hydro facility. Let us now look at the way the hydro energy works and how it's a renewable energy. The theory of hydroelectricity power is to produce electrical energy by driving turbines and generators making use of gravitational force to falling or flowing water. Through the national water cycles, mainly evaporation, wind and rain, the water is then brought back to its rightful height. At the head, the starting point water flow drops. At the head, the starting point water flows down a drop through the penstock. During the drop, the height of the water will accumulate potential energy from the effect of gravity. Calculation is done to ascertain where to intercept the water. The interception is the best point to harvest potential energy from the water by means of turbine or guide vanes. The turbine converts the kinetic energy of falling water to mechanical energy. The turbine or vanes runner will rotate upon the crashing height of flowing water with self-lubricating bearings about a shaft connected to the generator. Then a generator converts the mechanical energy from the turbine into electrical energy. This is the flow turbine setup. The smaller version will be a Pelton wheel configuration difference. The difference will be in the turbine use and the size of the generator next to the turbine. By damping the water head, the restricted flow of a large reservoir allowing only flow through enough only to generate power to flow through. This makes the large reservoir drain out extremely slow, and before it is dry, rain will top up the water catchment again. The periodic repetition of such process makes a renewable energy, as it will never stop. This is the case study. On 1st October 2009, a 2.2 megawatt mini hydropower station in SG Keling's Selangor started supplying power to Tenaga Sahan Berhad, a national utilities company. Mechanism. There are many ways to generate electricity in modern day. One of them is to use the gravitational force of falling water, which is also known as hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity occurs in a dam, where the falling water is used to generate enough force to turn a turbine that is connected to an electricity generator. With this action, potential energy of water is transformed to mechanical energy and then into electrical energy. These are a few pictures for you to see. Efficiency. In the world, about 20% of all this electricity is generated by hydropower. It is clean, does not produce air pollution, and leaves no waste behind. Hydropower is the most efficient way to generate electricity. Modern hydro turbines can convert as much as 90% of the available energy into electricity. These are the formula. From the data, we can determine the net power output of the plant. That's the end of our presentation. Thank you.